Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're going to dive into a really powerful idea, how the way you ask a question can totally change the answers you get. And we're going to use a simple but pretty brilliant drawing exercise to show you exactly how. All right, to kick things off, let's just try a little thought experiment. Imagine you're about to be given two very different instructions. As we look at them, just think to yourself, what's the real fundamental difference between these two requests? So on one side, you've got draw a flower pot. Super simple, right? Direct. But then on the other side, it's draw a new way to enjoy flowers. Whoa, that's way more open-ended, isn't it? One is a thing, the other is an experience. So what do you think happens when you give people these two different prompts?
Well, the results are just fascinating. When you ask people to draw a flower pot, pretty much everyone draws, well, a flower pot. They all look kind of the same. But when you ask for a new way to enjoy flowers, you get this explosion of creativity. You see ideas for things like flower-themed restaurants or maybe an app that combines reading a book with being out in nature. It just perfectly shows that one question gives you conformity while the other unlocks genuine innovation.
So you might be thinking, okay, cute drawing exercise, but what's the point? Well, this simple little test actually explains a huge billion-dollar problem in the business world, because asking for a flower pot is exactly like a client telling a consultant, hey, just build us an app. This quote just hits the nail on the head. It happens all the time. A client asks for a very specific thing, the flower pot, and the team just builds that exact thing. Nobody ever stops to ask if an app is even the right solution to whatever the problem is. They're just taking orders, not actually solving the real problem. So, the whole game here is about shifting that entire mindset. It's about moving from the old way of just delivering answers to a new way of creating solutions together. Instead of just selling some off-the-shelf service, you're guiding a journey of shared discovery. It's the difference between asking, so what do you want, and asking the much, much more powerful question, what are we all trying to achieve here? Okay, so how do you actually do that? How do you get past that first obvious flower pot request? Well, it turns out there's a really powerful framework for this, and it's all designed to get to the real challenge before anyone even thinks about writing code or selling a service. And you know what's crazy? This whole powerful process, it all comes down to just 5 questions. That's it. Just 5 fundamental questions that can completely reframe the conversation and lead to way, way better results. Let's walk through them. Okay, so here they are. It's like a logical path, right? First, you start with the big, dreamy stuff. What's the ultimate vision? Where do we want to be in a few years? Then you get real about the problems. What's actually holding us back from that vision? After that, you make it concrete with measurement. How will we know, with numbers, if we're successful? Next, you figure out the capabilities, the people, processes, and tech you'll need. And finally, you build the roadmap, the clear, step-by-step plan of where to begin. And I want to pause on that word for a sec, capability, because it's really important. This isn't just about buying new software. A real capability is a mix of 3 things. You need the technology, sure, but you also need the skilled people who know how to use it, and you need the right process in your organization to make it all work together. If you're missing one of those 3, the whole thing can fall apart. So when you actually take a team through these 5 questions, what you get at the end isn't just a pile of notes. You get a real, tangible, prioritized plan that everyone in the room has built together and actually agrees on. And this is where the real magic happens, in the prioritization step. The team looks at every potential idea and runs it through 3 clear filters. First, vision alignment. Does this actually get us closer to our main goal? Second, ability to execute. Can we realistically do this? And third, expected impact. Is this going to make or save us money? This keeps everyone focused on what truly matters. And this is what it looks like when it all comes together. You get a simple, super clear visual roadmap. The green stuff, that means go. These are the top priorities to start on now. Amber is like, let's look into this more. And red means, let's put this on the back burner for now. All of a sudden, a bunch of complicated choices becomes a really simple path forward. But the most incredible part of this whole thing? It's the speed and the alignment. Instead of spending months in endless meetings and fighting political battles, you get a single, unified roadmap that everyone, from marketing to sales to IT, has actually agreed on. The result is a plan built on consensus, and it happens in days, not months. It's a game changer. All right, so let's tie all of this together. What's the big takeaway here? It's that the real magic isn't in having all the answers yourself. It's in knowing how to create a process that helps a group discover the best answers together. And to pull this off, it really boils down to two key things. First, you have to ask the right questions. You got to push past that flower pot request to find out what's really needed. And second, you have to master the facilitation, that structured process that guides the conversation and gets everyone on the same page. Both are absolutely critical. So I'll leave you with a question to chew on. Think about your own work. What's your flower pot? What's that obvious surface-level request you get all the time? And more importantly, what's the deeper, more powerful question that you really should be asking instead?